Hello everyone, today I'm going to explain 5 basic questions from C4NA. So for the first question, it asks, when deploying the HSRP protocol, which address should be used as the gateway address for the host? It should definitely be the virtual IP address. The two routers will create a virtual IP address together, and then it will be used as the gateway for the host. Then the host uses this virtual address to request the virtual MAC address. As for the host address and broadcast address, those are just nonsense. Those are definitely wrong. The interface address is also incorrect, so the correct answer is B. All right, next is another question related to the HSRP protocol. Let's take a look. It says the virtual MAC address is the HSRP virtual MAC address with group number 14. Which route does it match? Which MAC address does it match? It's the one we configured with the IP group. 14. So this thing will automatically generate a MAC, which is a virtual MAC. So which MAC will it generate? This is in decimal 14. It will be converted to binary, converted to hexadecimal, which is E. It's E, and both of these are E, right? So the correct answer should be D, because the first 24 bits, this one is A. This is the OUI fixed value assigned by the organization. This is a fixed value, so the one above is incorrect. So the correct answer is D. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose D. All right, question 3. If you want to learn Cisco technologies or get access to Cisco question banks, feel free to send me a private message or leave a comment below the video to discuss technical topics. For the third question, it's about adding router 21 to the network. If you add this 21 to the network, it is configured with 2 addresses, one for my own LAN port. The LAN port is my internal network address, and the other one is the address of this network, which is 10.020.0, this network. So after configuring this, if it now wants to send data to this 3, to the device behind 23, to this LAN port address, to access this place. How should we write the route? Writing the route is very simple. We just base it on this destination, 10.0.15.0. Right? Based on this destination, we can eliminate option A. And since it's a 24-bit address, we can also eliminate option C. We've eliminated option C, so now we're left with B and D. Between B and D, which one should we choose? Should we go through 10.020.3? Right? So the correct answer is D. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose D. All right, question 4. Question 4 states, a router operating within the very same OSPF process, that is to say, in the identical OSPF process, possesses 2 distinct static routes, which means it has 2 separate static routes configured to reach entirely different destinations. The destination addresses are different. In other words, let's say this router, 2.1, and I'm going to the same, in my OSPF process, there are 2 next hops. Right? One goes through 2.2.1, the other through 2.3. So if these next hop devices are different, how does the router choose which route to take? That is, which next hop to select. For example, if I'm accessing the same destination, 2.4, and behind it, there's a 4.4. If I want to reach this destination, should I go this way or that way? How does it make the choice? In this situation for my link, when it comes to OSPF, what it refers to is the cost value is based on bandwidth, right? That is the bandwidth. If the links are the same, meaning the paths are the same, then we will have load balancing. So the correct answer is D. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose D. All right, question 5. For question 5, it says, when we implement the first redundancy protocol, that is, when we deploy this first redundancy protocol, what can it protect? First of all, it can protect the default gateway, right? That is, if I have 2 exits, I originally have 1 exit router, then here is a switch connected, and below the switch, there are many hosts connected. With many hosts connected, so what about this part here? This part is where it feeds into, right? This is the default gateway, and when my data traffic is sent here, if this link goes down, or what if this device fails? That's why we need to deploy more routers, 1, 2, or even 3 of them, to serve as protection for the gateway, as backup for the default gateway. In other words, one is standby and the other is active. Right? This is to protect the default gateway. Now, BGP neighbor protection, this has nothing to do with BGP, nor does it have anything to do with things like spanning tree protection. Protecting against root bridge loss, that's a layer 2 issue. As for first hop redundancy, this protocol is a layer 3 protocol. But when it switches paths, it's actually switching at layer 2. It's the switch that's doing the switching. But it is a layer 3 protocol. So the correct answer is A. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose A and submit. There's a wrong question. Let's see what the mistake is. What's going on? Oh, there isn't a wrong question. That's because I picked too many questions just now. Picked too many questions. If anyone wants to learn Cisco technologies or get access to Cisco question banks, please send me a private message. You can also leave a comment below the video to exchange technical knowledge.